The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. Good crack-a-noon to our friends on the East Coast. I am Todd Obert, joined here today with James Manning and Nick Modal of Panda Security. We're going to talk about managing your remote workforce and how to do it effectively. We have some cool technology we're going to see from Panda. If you don't know Panda, they've been around for quite a long time, over a quarter century, from Spain, and they are doing a great job. If their whole range of products and security is amazing, so we're going to see some of that today, and pretty excited about it. If you've been to our events in the past, you know how we do it. We are going to meet productive in 1 minute, and then we're going to turn it over to James. He's going to talk about Panda System Management, show that interface and the reports, talk a little bit about ways you can use data control, their patch management, take a look at some of the advanced reporting, and maybe touch on encryption and their EDR product as well if we have time. As always, utilize the chat feature and we will get your questions answered throughout the presentation. So without further ado, let's giddy up and meet Productive Corp. Who is Productive Corporation? Well, I'm so glad, even though you're muted, you decided to ask. Productive Corporation provides security solutions for mid-sized companies. We have a staff that is well seasoned that can help with licensing, technical questions, really understands the security space, can help you with a range of different things. We can test, implement, and optimize all the products that we sell. We offer security assessments to come in and review your security posture. We take a look at AD security. We can help with configuration, assistance, and UTM services at the gateway. We also produce a lot of third-party content like this webinar today. It's all educational, and it's designed to help you understand what are the trends in technology. You can find that at productivecorp.com/solving security. This webinar will be posted there as well. The bottom line is we have the resources to help you, whether that's implementation, assessment, licensing, or optimization services. Help at productivecorp.com. It goes to everybody. Or if you want to still use the landline, 612-375-0204. So there we go. If you were here at the top of the hour, you know what we're talking about. We are very lucky to have Nick Modal and James Manning from Panda to talk to us about Panda Security, specifically systems management. Great stuff, great products. We've been partnering with these guys, and we love their technology. We love their solutions. More importantly, our customers have as well. So the proof is in the pudding. Love the way the interface works. Love the high level of security. Feel like everything that they've done helps to add to their security posture. So fantastic stuff. So let's turn it over to the youngest brother in the Manning family, Mr. James Manning. James?
Thank you very much, Todd. Can you do me one favor and make me the presenter here, and I'll throw all the magic out there for everybody.
Absolutely. There we go.
As Mannings are known to do, throw things.
When it's crunch time, they make the plays.
All right, everybody. My name is James Manning. I am a pre-sales engineer here with Panda Security, and I'm going to be kind of guiding you through this part of the presentation. Really quick look at a slide here, and I promise I'm not going to bore you to death with a bunch of slides. This is honestly going to be it. We just kind of want to lay out sort of an agenda of what we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to start off with some quick stats. Just going to discuss those really kind of quickly. And the idea is sort of we want to frame kind of the conversation. Then we're going to jump into the Panda Systems Management product and look at a couple of key areas. You know, we want to focus on remote access and troubleshooting. We're going to be taking a look at monitoring devices, and then also dealing with software and things that we call components like scripts and so on. And I think we'll just jump right into the stats here. Threat Post recently did a survey, probably about 3-4 weeks ago, I would say, and it was focused on this big remote shift that everybody was having to undertake, and really kind of at the last minute, I guess, if you will. And there were some interesting stats in there that'll really sort of help paint the picture for today. One of them was of the people that they surveyed, 70% of them said that just enabling the remote work is something that was entirely new to them. And then 30% of those surveys said that currently less than 20% of their workforce currently worked remotely. So more than 80% were in some kind of a physical location there. So those are its own challenges, right? So you may not have the hardware to be pushing people out into a remote workforce, and you have people jumping on BYOD, or you've got a lot of devices that you have to shift, and just getting all the systems and the applications and everything to play nice and being able to keep on top of that is a challenge in itself. But add into this mix, we've got the hyenas sitting out there and they're drooling. The same people surveyed said that 40% were already seeing more attacks on their remote workforce. So not only do you have to deal with that challenge of getting everybody out there and working, but also these attacks that are coming. And you're going to have some of the same attacks, obviously, but there's going to be some new things in the mix. All of your targets now are a bit softer. And dealing with those issues are a little bit more difficult. So there's going to be kind of new, unique ways that attackers may be going after devices. So with that kind of a picture, with those kind of challenges that we're dealing with, and looking forward into this presentation, and if I could run really sort of 2 threads through what we're going to talk about today, that would be time, but also security. And they're not, immediately obviously linked, but they are definitely. When we talk about time, we want to try to reclaim pockets of that for ourselves. It's going to be tough enough for you as it is. Things that may have taken you 20 minutes to do in a normal situation may be increased out to an hour to 2 hours. And you start to multiply that towards many users, you just start sinking a lot of time into those sort of menial tasks. And the reason we want to be able to focus on minimizing those time sinks and becoming more efficient is the security side. You want to reserve those pockets of time so you can keep an eye on and respond to maybe some of these unique types of attacks. Not only the attacks themselves, but dealing with them, getting with those systems that may have been affected, and making sure all your data and everything like that is going to be safe. So that kind of gives you 2 threads that we're going to be pursuing here today. And with that being said, let's get PowerPoint out of the way and let's get into some of the fun here. We'll get out of this and we'll actually get our systems up. So the first area that we're going to be focusing on today is going to be in remote access and troubleshooting. And the idea here is going to be efficient interaction and support for our end users. Now, you may be in a situation where all of your users that are working remotely, they were pushed out into their environments with VPNs that are booting with Windows. They're automatically establishing connections, and then you can just RDP into the systems if you need to. That's great, but we're going to talk about some drawbacks to that as well. The other side is not being able to respond to issues. Maybe you had to move so quickly that you didn't get something out there in time to really help you get onto these devices. Now, with systems management, when it comes from the remote access side, we're going to give you a couple of different ways to deal with that. I mean, we do have RDP and VNC variants in here, and that's all going to be included in the agent that you get pushed out. So deployment's going to be really simple. But I think really kind of what the star is as far as our remote support technology here, considering the current environment, is going to be what we call our non-intrusive options. And we'll take a look at that now and just connect to one of these devices. And why is non-intrusive options important? And this ties back to what we were talking about, being able to RDP into a system. There's a relative of mine that works kind of in the hospitality resort side of things. And one of the things that they experienced as a result of all this is massive furloughs. A lot of people were just told, hey, you're going to have to go home and we'll let you know when we're ready to come back. So the first thought is, as an admin, hey, great, that's less users that I have to worry about supporting. But the other side of that picture is the business aspect. You have fewer people here working at a site, but maybe in all likelihood that their tasks or their responsibilities haven't diminished. They've probably grown. They may be taking on other roles and things like that. So what we see is that time is incredibly valuable. Any disruptions with a user, it's going to really quickly make its way up the chain, and you're going to have it come back down on your side potentially and have somebody breathing down your neck. So we want to be able to get on these devices, remotely support them, do what we need to help these users, but we also need to keep them on those systems and keep them working and keep interruptions down to a minimum. So as we see here, we have a remote connection to a device, and right now this user does not even know that we're connected. A lot of benefits to that. They're going to be able to keep working. We don't have to interrupt them, but also, hey, maybe you got an order down from the top that says, I need to make sure this person is doing what they need to be doing. You're able to kind of silently come in here and connect, and maybe we can take a screenshot of their desktop. Maybe there's an error message or something that we need to report back. But beyond that, we can start looking at other things. We can come in here and jump right into our services. We can start, stop, restart services. If we want to, we can get in here and change the startup type, all without interrupting the end user.
And James, the user's
Sure.
not aware we're doing this, right?
Absolutely, they're not aware.
Yeah.
There's two sides of that, and I'll actually hit on it before we leave this section. But yeah, initially and by default, this user is not going to be aware that we're even here. So we had access to the services. Maybe we want to get in here and get a remote shell on this device. There we go. We get immediate feedback from the device. So a lot of your troubleshooting utilities are going to be right here and available from the command line. So think of what you can do from that perspective. Task manager here. This is going to tie into something that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But you're able to come in and see what's the resource usage across this device. We're able to kill processes if we want to. There's also a file browser in here. So if we need to copy files up to this device or we need to pull something off to review it, we're able to do that. Registry editor access is here. You also have access to the event logs. Running quick jobs. We're going to see this in a minute when we talk about pushing software out. We can deploy scripts and applications out to this device remotely without user interaction and without having to take over their machine. And then we also have a handy utility here. And I was thinking about this before the webinar. This enables you to use this device to SSH or telnet into something else. So you've got a bunch of remote users. Maybe they have some home networking equipment that perhaps you can SSH into. If they're dealing with an issue, you can maybe connect in and deal with it in that manner. A lot of different uses for this. We POC'd this doing connections into remote cameras. So just about anything that you can connect into.
Wow.
So yeah, we have that ability to connect in. Also, something that's going to be important as well is you have a notes section. So you're going to be able to keep a history of the work that you're doing, in your own words, essentially here. And this is going to go back to the original install date for the agent. So you see here, August, this is almost 3 years ago. We still have notes on this particular device sitting right here.
Does that have some sort of automated logging? So like it shows you went to a system on these dates?
We do. So there's detailed reporting in here. So these connections that we make, and we'll see if I do a VNC or an RDP into the device, we have reporting in here that's actually going to say that you initiated this connection at this day and specific time. You terminated this connection at this day and specific time. And this was your total time connected to the device. So
Perfect.
You get a breakdown of that interaction. So this is kind of what we're looking at with being able to support this end user. Now, there is sort of an asterisk here, I guess you could say. What if we start talking about C-level executives, or we're talking about somebody in HR and finance? Maybe they don't want us remotely connecting to their device without their knowledge. So we have provisions for that in place as well. We have the option with each device to turn on something that is called privacy. And what privacy is going to do is when we initiate that connection, it's going to send a request to that user saying, administrator 123 wants to connect into this device. Do you want to allow this, yes or no? So somebody in a sensitive role, they could minimize tabs, close down documents, do whatever they need to do and say, here you go. You can hop right in. But there's a lot of power in that one. It gives us the ability to get in, help our end users out, fix the issues, move along. They keep working. And this is going to be one of those really good times where it's good to be kind of that overlooked IT guy. You're able to do your job, not cause any issues, and things move smoothly. Now, the next thing that we want to take a look at is being able to monitor our devices. And I think the theme or the idea here is, the best I can put it, is issues over disasters. Little problems are going to flare up from time to time. That's a given. But what we want them to not do is become aggravated to where we're having system failures or we're having massive problems that are going to take a lot of our time. Remember, we're trying to reclaim those time pockets. So we're able to do that through a lot of different policies. These are going to let you get ahead of things in a lot of different ways. We'll go through and we'll take a look at some of these here. And by the way, we have policies for about everything. We can, monitor ESXi, we can control power, we can do a little bit of everything here. But for today, we're going to take a look at these monitoring policies, and we'll see what we have. So a long list in here, starting from the top: antivirus status monitor. We make sure that the AV is installed, operating correctly. We can also keep an eye on the CPU or the memory. We want to see if spikes are occurring. If those spikes happen, we want to know why. Well, what was running at the time when this spike took place? It may be something we can get ahead of, run a script to, or something along those lines and resolve the issue for us. There are also disk usage and file and folder size monitors. Maybe we have personal folders set up on these devices and they're only limited to, or supposed to be limited to, so much information, or maybe there's a security concern. We want to keep an eye on personal directories, and if they start downloading and grabbing a bunch of files for burning off onto a USB, we can keep an eye on a particular folder and trigger if that gets to a certain limit. Then beyond that, we get into other things. We're able to watch processes. We can watch services to see if those things come online or if they go offline. The online status monitor is actually really a neat one, especially in the current times. We use this here, actually. This is going to tell you if a device goes offline or comes online for a specified amount of time. So what we noticed on our side was we had a particular user that we were getting these offline notices for, but their work was getting done. So we finally reached out to the user and said, hey, your device hasn't been online in 3 days. What's going on? And they said, oh, my home device is 10 times faster than what you guys gave me, so I just used that. Which is all well and good, but if you think about that from the security perspective, do you even know what kind of condition that device is in? Does it even have any kind of security software on it? Things of that.
Are the kids, is somebody else accessing it, right? We're seeing kids at home are the new threat vector, right? They might be sharing a system, they're on the same network, and yeah, can be very problematic.
Well, and yeah, the nice thing about being able to identify that is it shifts you right into kind of a response mode, and you can say, all right, well, it's fine, you want to use your BYOD, but mandated these applications go with it, and then you can deal with that from here. So this gets you ahead of the curve, and that you spot those issues rather than 6 months down the road, your systems are getting breached and all your data is getting pilfered and sit out there on the black market. So issues before disasters is kind of what we want to focus on. Now, one of the really great things and one of the power here with this particular piece is the ability to respond. So we can identify issues. Wonderful. It makes no difference if you're not able to do something with it. So let's say file and folder size monitor. We can come in and we can say, all right, if a particular file, let's just say our temp folder is over, I don't know, 100 megabytes for X amount of minutes. Maybe this is a user that probably has poor data handling practices. Maybe they're a really bad designer and they're using CAD and they're deleting a bunch of, CAD files, and this folder typically fills up, and we get a notice when they've got 500 megs left on the device. We can set this up to keep an eye on that, but what the really nice thing is we can respond to it automatically. Remember, we're trying to minimize these time sinks. So we've seen that there's an issue there. We automatically respond to it, and then we just send ourselves a nice little handy dandy notification and sit back. So all that time has been reclaimed. If we hadn't got ahead of this particular user probably could have maxed out their drive. Then we're having to deal with that, all the time that goes into recovering that device. But not only that, we noticed the issue is there. Normally, we're going to have to remote in and deal with it, clean up some space and do stuff like that. We've reclaimed all that time now too, because we're automatically responding to it. We're handling it on the fly. So it really allows us to get some of that time back.
Cool. Hey, this is kind of a tangential question, but do you need to have the Endpoint product to own Panda Systems Management, or can you buy it separately?
You can buy it separately. So you can run this entirely on your own if you like, or you can run them in tandem.
Mm-hmm. But it's a different agent install anyway, right? So you would be installing it separately, right? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with this is the agent installation on this is really easy. I mean, probably one of the easiest, smoothest installations I've ever seen. It takes about 30 seconds to get on the device and it's done. There's really not a lot to it.
Yep. And how do you notify? Is that, can you send an email to the remote user, or how are they pushing it out to that remote user?
So for the remote user, yeah, you can send them out an email link if you like, and they can execute it on the machine, and it's just really clean and it gets installed. Then there's other approaches. If you do have a VPN, obviously you can push it out through like a GPO or or something.
But if you're just initially trying to get somebody connected, they're not on the VPN, right?
Yep. Or even if you're on a LAN, if you've got a bunch of devices on a LAN, there's like a remote discovery in here as well. And then you can go through and just tick boxes and add devices that way. So there's a lot of different distribution methods.
Okay, cool.
Now, the last part I kind of want to cover here is our Comm Store and our components are dealing with software. So this is going to be an issue that's eventually going to come up. We're going to have users that need applications. We're going to have to be pushing new versions out, or we want to utilize a script on a remote device to take care of an issue. Or like we were just talking about, those BYODs, we find out somebody's using that device. We want to make sure that our stuff goes on it. So for that, we start you out in what is called the Comm Store. And this is a big application repository. The great thing about it is it's free for you. Everything in here, you can come in and just select whatever it is that you want. You need to recover a BitLocker key, that's in here. You need to be able to push feature releases, you got that in here as well. Then we get into the common stuff like Adobe and Firefox and Chrome and all of those. All of that stuff can be pushed out easily. Also, think about infrastructure. You may not be in the office yourself. So there are a lot of custom created components that are designed to monitor those specific devices. So if we look in here, we've got Backup Assist, we've got HP, obviously we've got WatchGuard in here, NetApp,
StorageCraft, yeah.
But beyond that, look at this. We have custom designed ones for server roles. So DHCP, DNS, domain controllers, Hyper-V, IIS. This is all the monitoring done for you. You just go out and deploy it. So all of that's available. And if we want, we notice down here, add an iOS app. If you're having to manage those those iOS devices, you want to make sure that you've got certain applications on them. Just tap right into the App Store, and there you go. We can come in here and start grabbing applications designed specifically for those iOS devices. All right. And then outside of that, besides what we provide, you're able to come in here and create and script your own. So we permit you to do that in Batch, Bash, Python, PowerShell, Ruby, and Groovy. A lot of different options here for creating them. I always tell people when they ask me, can this solution do this? I never say no, but I'll always say, maybe not natively, but if you can script it, you can do it. It's really open-ended and really powerful.
So this is for all the management stuff, but what about the patch? Is that through the endpoint interface, or is that in here?
Ideally, yeah, we're going to be doing that through the endpoint interface because it's all
Okay.
comprehensive and kind of inside of that console. You
Yep.
have the Windows side and the third-party application management. And so we
Okay.
tend to house that there.
Yeah.
You can do it through here. You do have the Windows updates available in here,
Okay.
and there is a little bit of third-party application management, but it tends to be limited to applications that are existing in the App Store, and it's not all of them. So there's a subset of applications. So it's a lot broader on the endpoint side.
Totally. Yep. But so there's a quick and dirty here for Windows and maybe some of the major stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Now, if we want to talk about really quickly, as far as deployment, you're going to have the options to push stuff out as quick jobs so you can send it out right away. This is all going to run with system level privileges, so you don't have to worry about user interaction. But you can even set up what is known as scheduled job, and you can do it as we call an on connect. If we're thinking about those BYOD devices, we can come in here and say, anytime a device gets an agent installed on it, I want all these applications to automatically follow. So that simplifies that BYOD transition. You install the agent and then bang, 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 bang. All these applications go with it. And now that BYOD device is in a better place. And then we can track all of this all the way through, make sure installations have taken place. We get logging from it, error logs, and just regular logs as well. So all of that is captured.
Cool.
So with that, I guess I'll just throw in my little closing here.
Yeah.
What I was kind of going to hit on was kind of so much of what we're doing as far as from the security side is focused a little bit more on responding or kind of reacting to events that have happened. And in reality, a lot of these events had a long chain of events leading up to them. You know, somebody shifting over to that BYOD device, applications that are not getting updated, all sorts of those sorts of things. So we want to be able to focus on prevention. I mean, that's kind of a mantra here. We do it with Adaptive Defense 360, prevention from step one, but also device management. Get ahead of these issues before they become disasters, save your time, and you're going to be able to respond more effectively to those new and novel attacks that are out there. So
Yeah.
with that, Todd, that's my little piece. That's my touchdown.
Oh, that's good. That was yeah. I'd say that's also a 2-point conversion. It was very well done. Super cool stuff. Obviously, a ton in the just systems management. We didn't get any of the stuff on what they're doing with encryption and EDR, which is all part of that endpoint or the real robust patching. That maybe be a future topic that we can take a look at. Want to make sure. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
You seeing the let's take a look screen?
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. But for now, couple of things, couple housekeeping deals. I'm going to do a quick drawing here at the end for the attendees. We're going to send out some fabulous Panda gift packs that include all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to promise. I think some of them might include a Bluetooth speaker. Some have wireless charging pads. It's all going to be worth your while to respond back to me with your address you want it shipped to. I'll email you here shortly. Nick and James, thank you for a fantastic presentation. Nick, your silence was incredible. It was, just really made the difference. And James, great stuff. So thank you all. If you guys want to see more of this stuff, a ton of great info that you could see, we'd be happy to do a custom demo. Let us know how we can help. Hope you guys are working through this, working from home, and hopefully we'll all be back running 100% before we know it. But as for now, have a fantastic balance of your day and week, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.